Hello all, I hope you're well and having a great week. Tonight, Middlesex University Product Design Engineering and Design Engineering are excited to host the third talk in our weekly guest lecture series. So this series runs weekly throughout the academic year on Thursday evenings, bringing together a vibrant mix of speakers from across the full spectrum of design and engineering, a mix of leading practitioners, opinion leaders, radical thinkers, and emerging talents to inspire and support your professional development. Tonight, we're hosting Isabel Rojo Olivares, designer and founder of About Design Studio in Valencia, Spain. So Isabel has a really interesting background. She studied industrial design and product design at the Universidad Politecnica de Valencia. It was here in 2014-2015 where Isabel undertook an Erasmus year at Middlesex University London, studying product design. Thereafter, she undertook furniture design at the University of Arts London and returned to Spain where she did a master's in product design at the Universidad CEU Cardenal Herrera. It's a private university located within the Valencian community. Isabel has several years of experience as both a product designer and graphic designer, working across studios in Valencia, alongside freelancing at the same time. In September 2018, she founded About Design Studio and recently an online shop, About Editions, where she sells her own designs. Isabel's details were sent to your emails ahead of the talk, including links to her website and social media handles. So definitely feel free to browse and connect. And now over to Isabel with a talk titled What I've Learned Freelancing in Design. Isabel, it's all yours.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure doing this talk here in Middlesex. It's a university that I appreciate very much and where I have really good memories from my Erasmus. I have to tell you that my English is a bit rusty, but I will do my best. That's why I prepared the talk, but I'm not really confident enough to do it without reading. I'm going to introduce myself another time. I'm Isabel Rojo. I'm a young freelance designer that works from Spain, from Valencia right now. And Valencia, I have to say that is a wonderful city that has also been recently selected World Design Capital for 2022, if anyone can hear, just to know. I currently have my own studio. I work in a co-working space, but also from home. I work a lot of hours, like a freelance. And I'm the only person in the studio, but I have like a small team that I collaborate with depending on the project. In addition to the studio, I have recently created a personal project to sell my own designs called About Design. Here is my first product. You can see. This was the first product I have launched. It's a marble beer wallet box made with local marble by local artisans here in Spain. And I'm very happy with the response it is getting. Then here I am, and my cat. Well, I wanted to focus this talk especially on things that I have been learning recently years, and I would like to know before starting my career as a designer. I'm going to squeeze everything I have learned these years into a small talk, so you can avoid making the same mistake that I did. The first is I think it's very important to set a goal. It's essential to have a goal and a direction. Ask yourself where you want to end up. If you want to be a car designer or have your own studio, you have to ask you. In my experience, just after finishing school, I have a very clear objective. I wanted to study design. I was very focused in this. So I studied hard to get good grades and be able to study design. I was sure of what I wanted. I worked hard, and thanks to that, I got my place at the university. So far, so good. when I was in the university, I think I stopped it having a long-term goal, and I just had to pass the subject. Something that I think is obvious. You have to pass the years, but I think basically I got carried away and I didn't think any further. So what happened? When I finished, when I got my degree, I felt super lost. I started looking for a job with practically any experience and with any knowledge in how to use programs or skills that companies were asking, because if they weren't the same that I knew. I learned in my degree AutoCAD, but when I went to look for a job, the companies were asking SolidWorks or Rhinoceros or other programs. Then suddenly I didn't have the skills to do what I wanted to do. And all that, because of all that, I stopped to think about what I wanted to get and get to, I stopped to think about what I wanted and how to get it, okay? This is what I wanted. My goal was to have my own furniture studio. So what did I need to do? The first one, I specialize in my case in furniture design. After that, I learned what the companies that I like were demanding, like software, skills, languages, course, everything. Also move around and get to know people in the design sector in my hometown. I think this is very important, and it's one of the topics that we are going to talk later. Also, to get experience in the studios where I could learn stuff that I could use for my studio after that. Over the time, I realized that also I have to learn and to have knowledge about business management, because if I wanted to start a company, I need it. You have to know this if you want to be a freelance designer. I have continued following my goals ever since. I think it's essential to always have a direction. Always set your mind on where do you want or where you want to go. Right now, ask yourself, if you want to work in X company, find out about the programs, languages, or everything they are already asking for. Get experience and be smart. For example, don't look for car design internships if you want to do graphic design, because they will not contribute anything for the position you want. And I think you have to move. I don't know how to explain, but you have to move. Because if not, you will finish university with a blank CV. Take advantage of the opportunity that the university gives you, like contacts, competitions, everything. Okay, the second topic, this is you have to ask for yourself. The second topic is the contact. Like I said before, how important are the people and the impression we leave on them? You have a lot of people around you every day who can make your life much easier now or in the future. Some professors, for example, can be a great source of industry contacts. Exploit them. It will be very helpful. They can help and advise you, but it's important that you have to know what do you want and work hard for it. When I choose my master's degree, I didn't choose only because it was furniture design. One of the things I took into account when choosing this master was the contact that I could get from it. I found out that myself of furniture design in Valencia. Okay, I realized that a lot of people, a lot of furniture designers here in Valencia were teaching in the same master degree. Then I choose this master because I know that it will be a very interest for me to know them and have the opportunity to like do internships, or maybe they will hire me. In the master, and like in the degree, I took advantage of everything I could. I interacted with them, with the professors, and let them see my interest. I wanted them to remember me if they were going to hire someone for their studio, or if anyone asked for reference. I was lucky that they were wonderful people, young people, and I'm still in contact with most of them. I take a beer with most of them, and I go to the party with professors because they are people like you with a lot of common interests, and I think it's important that you interact with them. It will be helpful for your future. To give you an idea how important are the people, most of the projects that I get into the studio are from word of mouth. Then go to events and openings, show up for competitions, exhibitions, fair. It is very important to make contact, and it doesn't matter if you don't like it, because I don't like the networking. I hate it, and I used to still struggle with it, but I realized that it's really important to know people in the sector and to have a relationship with them, because they can open you a lot of doors. It's not just to get freelance projects or make a good impression on professors or clients. Your classmates also are essential in this. You can go to, in the future, you can go to an interview and suddenly one of your old classmates one of your old classmates are working there. If you are a hard worker, that classmate will be able to recommend you for the position. Leaving a good impression on others, it doesn't matter, classmate, professor, or on anyone, can open you many doors. The next topic I would like to talk is the money. Okay. I've always felt like talking about money on design, at least here in Valencia, in Spain, seems to be a taboo. At least here where I study, nobody talks to you about money. Nobody tells you that the rates, they are usually in the market, how much they ask for their designs, or what could be a good amount of money to charge if you don't have so many experience. How much you gonna ask for when you are starting, for example. There is here, it seems like a taboo, and there is not so much information about that. Then please, I think it is important that while you are in the university, ask teachers, ask and inform yourself, because it will be really useful for the future. Right now, I see how some professionals complain when people do things too cheap, but the thing is, there are a lot of people starting in design who are doing the things practically for free, and they don't know because anyone advise them about money. It's important to know how to budget, how to be and to value your time and your work. If you charge by hour, apart from the hour that you spend designing, you have to take into account like meetings, displacements, phone calls, and changes. There are always changes. I have also learned to write in the small prints for my budget that everything that is not specified doesn't go into the budget. Believe me, this will save you more than one time. There are many important things to take into account when making a budget. Your experience, how much time you can dedicate to the project, the kind of client, or even if that client can give you more project or it's just a punctual project. Also, I don't know how to explain, but if it's a period that you have a lot of work and a client came to you to ask you a budget, my advice to you is that never say no to a budget. If you have a lot of work and it's gonna be hard, increase the budget. Never say no. That's my advice. Okay, I'm gonna continue. Okay, I encourage you to start asking yourself how much is charged for your work. How is the value of your work? When you get in an interview, they will ask you how much do you want to earn, and what is what is your salary rate. You have to know what to answer. You have to know what to say when you are starting and what is the minimum or the maximum you can ask for. Okay, and the next topic is the clients and the project. This is my actual present. As I said before, my goal is to work in furniture, but I'm still in the process to get it because it's a long and hard process. I don't know if you know how works the furniture design work, but it's quite complicated. Normally, the way to start working on your own furniture design studio is to design collections by yourself for free and contact companies to show them your projects, to do a presentation. Some of the companies don't answer, and the most of the companies that work with designers, they used to call the same designers or most famous designers, but it's really hard to get in contact with a company. I think it's easier outside Spain. The international companies have open door for young designers, but in Spain I think it's difficult to enter. when you have the opportunity to show a presentation with your furniture collection to a company, and finally a collection fit their catalog, you enter in a process of changes, revision of prototype, a long process, maybe a year can be perfectly. And if for any reason the collection doesn't go to the market, doesn't go on the market for whatever reason, you don't receive a penny after a year working. You don't receive a penny. Okay. But if finally goes to the market, the designer gets paid by royalties according to sales. Okay, this is usually 3–5% of the selling price. The selling price is from the like the industry, not from the store. Okay, and you usually get the 3–5% of the royalties, and it is charged quarterly based on the sales rate. As you can imagine by now, living from furniture design is a long process. Charging royalties has its good and its bad things. You must have enough products on the market to live from furniture design. But once you start making yourself own, it's easier for them to call you again because they know you, they know you work well, then they call you again. And the royalties already remain as a passive income as long as the products are in the catalog. As soon as I face this problem, that it's really hard to have income, money from furniture design when you are starting, I realized that I needed other projects than furniture to be able to survive and sustain my study. Yes, my goal is furniture, but every day I work toward it, but I have adapted to the circumstance. Today, I can tell you that I have done all kinds of projects, from programming robots in Compact, is a Spanish company for surface for kitchen and bathrooms. I made a lot of projects of graphic design, a lot of graphic material for example, camper van company, a lot of companies. I pretty much cut everything that comes in. And at the same time, I continue to prepare, and at the same time, I do the furniture presentation. A few months ago, they took me four furniture collections, and right now they are being prototyping. So in a few months, if everything goes well, you will be able to see my collections on Instagram, in my Instagram or website. Okay, I just already more or less I finished, but I want to, this is what I was saying. I want to add, I feel a bit confident to add a new part, a new topic. It is the social networking. Several things to know. Okay, I work in a lot of projects, but I don't put on Instagram all the projects. I only use the furniture design projects for my Instagram, because it's my objective, is my goal. Then if a furniture company entered to see my profile, I want to seem professional, to seem like I work in furniture design. Then most of the projects that I have in my Instagram account, in my About Design account, are fictitious projects, because I can't put on internet new collections, because if not, the companies, they want it because they are not like new, or because I don't know how to explain, but if there is an internet, the company don't want it, because everyone saw already all the collection. There is not new for them. Then almost everything I put in my Instagram are fictitious projects, because I didn't put the graphic design or program or the robot in design. The other thing I think is important in networking, in social networking, is that, for example, in my case, I use a lot Instagram and I use a lot LinkedIn, just not to show the images, to show the project or the product. I'm using networking to contact companies in Instagram. Thanks to the similar profiles, you can find a lot of companies that are really similar. For example, if you are in Bolia profile, you can find similar companies, design companies, and it's really useful to know a lot of new companies, to find a design companies, a lot of design companies that before the only way to find design companies were going to a fair. And also I think it's better to contact the companies by Instagram or by LinkedIn, that the info email that anyone read and anyone answer. Then, for example, in LinkedIn, right now you can find the design director from Bolia or from Good, or from, you can get the right contact and ask directly. No, you don't have to send an email at info at blah blah blah. And I think this is a useful advice that I can get you. I used to contact them, and anyone answer me by email, and all the company has a person working on social networking, and they are answer all the requirements. I think that's all I wanted to tell you. It was shorter than I expected, but I don't know. I have to chat, enter in the chat and answer.
Amazing. Isabel, thanks a lot for that. It was a really insightful talk and learnings from your experiences navigating the industry. Like you touched on like education, some like software requirements in terms of moving into industry, networking, contacts, building the experience, and also like business as well, with lots of insights, tips, and advices throughout. So guys, continue to like gather your thoughts and questions and comments in the chat. As usual, there's also the opportunity to go live and interact with questions and sentiments as well. And Isabel, the first question from Manuel is, do you usually earn more from the royalties or through getting paid by, hours on a job?
Vale, Manuel. I have to answer in English, I suppose. English, no?
Yeah, so Manuel's saying, do you usually earn more from royalties or by getting paid by like hours for a job? Like, do you bill it by hour or like hourly?
It depends, because anyone want to pay you by royalties. Okay, I don't know, the people is scared about that. Everyone want to pay you by hours or by projects, not by hours, by projects. And I think just to start, for who is starting, I prefer to getting paid by hours, because you don't know how much they are going to sell your product. I can control the design and I can control the prototype and all what I have in my hands, but how is selling, I don't know the person that is selling my product. Then I prefer to have money right now, and we will see.
Amazing. And Professor Mehmet, he said you don't actually have to declare your earnings as well. It's on a lighter note. And Chiara mentioned that she loved this talk. Thanks a lot, Isabel. Carlos Ariel, he's mentioning, Isabel, if you have 3 skills, if you can give us 3 skills which would be really useful to us, what would those 3 skills be?
Skills. Okay. Well, I recommend the skills that I don't have or I have to improve. Then to sell yourself, I think is really important. For networking, for find projects, for I don't know, you have to learn to sell yourself. I hate it, but it's important. Then others, be patient. I'm saying, okay. In design, you have to be patient. In furniture design, patient. And I think you have to be flexible, really flexible. I don't know why, but when anyone asks for a designer, they expect that designer do everything. Do the photos, do the prototype, do the video, do everything. I don't know why, but they expect that you do everything. Then you have to learn, being constantly learning about everything, about doing a web, about doing photos, everything. Then adaptation or flexibility, I think these are a really good skill.
That's brilliant, actually. And I think that links together quite nicely with what you mentioned in terms of networking and building your own contacts as well. So for example, you might end up with a network and like people who are really skilled in photography, photographers. You might have people who are really good at marketing and etc. And collaborating with people in terms of achieving those things as well. Then that's superb. So those 3 points that Isabel mentioned, sell yourself in terms of like selling your skills and your skill set, etc. and being marketable, being flexible, and having lots of patience. And a great question coming through from Chiara in terms of any advice and tips in terms of business startups and building business branding and recognition.
Okay, just to start, you have to elaborate like a really good brand design, your own brand design, and your values. I think it's really important to have a value and to follow them. Everything you do, you like photos, web, everything, it has to be aligned with your values, like a philosophy. You have to follow a philosophy and do that around do everything around your philosophy. This is my advice.
Amazing. And on that note, Isabel, a question for myself: what was your philosophy around the about Design Studio? So, what was the thinking about the branding, the name, and what were some of the considerations you had in terms of like building your brand in terms of that space within furniture?
My philosophy or my value, one of my values was elegance, and I wanted to mix elegance and fresh and young designers. This was like I base everything from that. This was my base, elegance and fresh, and I don't know how to say it, fresh.
Yeah, fresh, new, awesome.
Yeah, but elegant.
Yeah. Another question coming through from Carlos is that the royalties which you earn are from the items that you create and build and you post in the magazines. So that's a question, right? And then another question that kind of follows on from that, it says, so you have to contact the company to add the design in the magazine.
Which you can. I don't receive royalties from magazines. I receive royalties from the companies, from the furniture companies. I think I think your topic is how to get in a magazines. I really don't know, because any magazines publicado. I'm not in
published.
No me entendido.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe in terms of for Carlos, in what the question might be more around, like, how does royalties work?
Okay, but the royalties is not from magazine, are from furniture companies.
Mm-hmm.
They pay you every 3 months, a quarterly. By year, and it's a 3 or 5% from the price of the chair, for example. But for example, I'm starting, I can't ask more than 3. It's free and just it. If you have a famous designer, you can ask 5%, and also there are a lot of designers that are starting to ask they pay you an amount of money before the royalties. Like they pay you, for example, 1,000, and when the royalties get to that, they start to pay you the royalties. I don't know if I'm explaining well.
No, that was very clear.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. And another question coming through from Tariq Imad was, as a young professional, right, it's probably like, you know, getting in the industry, a couple of years experience, etc., should I always take work on and accept work that comes through my way, even if it's for free?
Sorry, can you?
So as a young professional, should I always take work on and accept work that comes through, even if it's for free?
No. I think, you know, it's like I said before, like they expect to do everything. It's similar that, for example, my family asked me for do the logo for that, the photos for that, because they think it's easier than. I think you have to put value on your work, and I don't know how to explain it, but you don't have to work for free. Because if not, they are going to ask you again another time. The next time they will ask you, and when you are going to stop that? I think we have to put value in what we do, because it's not easier. I study for that. I dedicate a lot of years learning, and now maybe I can do it in 5 minutes, but because I have a lot of knowledge before. It's like for a teacher, I don't know, it's a bad example, but for a teacher, it's very easy to look after a child. For me, no, they have experience, I don't have. Then to do a logo is easier if you have the knowledge. I think we have to put value. Maybe you can put a budget, a small budget. Start with a discount because it's a family person or a friend. But I advise you that you have to finally is an exchange of your time and your work for money. But if they don't pay you, they are gonna ask you again and again for free. Then if you want to do it free because you want to do projects for your portfolio, I think it's not a bad idea. But just one time, and maybe you can do a fictitious work yourself and not that.
No, that's what's cool. That's a really pertinent advice. And Yusuf's asking another question based around the same thing as well. And it's a trade-off, right, in terms of experience versus, you know, wanting to get that experience and build the expertise and, you know, kind of include stuff in your portfolio alongside obviously getting paid very little at the start because people don't consider that you have experience. So his question is, doing projects for free in the beginning, does it help you get more experience and make other companies know about yourselves and what you can do? So that's the question. Like,
that's the question.
Yeah. Or whether it's a question or a statement, that's another thing, right? So like having free projects at the beginning can help you to get more experience and make the companies know about you and what you can do. So like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yes, like I said before, I think it's a good opportunity to improve your portfolio. But I think if you ask clients, you can get paid for that and do the portfolio. You can mix both.
Definitely. Never work for free, guys. Never work for free. Unless obviously there's opportunities, you know, for a lot of volunteering and other outreach things that are more meaningful, and, you know, like you're helping communities and stuff like this. And I'm saying this, we're talking more about like, you know, honing your craft and those years of experience that you're building up. Now, so guys, another question coming through from James Buhan, and again, this is an interesting one touching on royalties. So does royalties apply to all areas of design or just furniture?
I think it's product design. The royalties is for product design, not only for furniture, but yeah, I think it's product design. For example, graphic design, they are not going to pay you by royalties. And other kind of design, for example, technical design for a company, like I did, programming a robot is not going to pay you by royalties. But I think it's product design, because if you design a toy, it's also by royalties. A bottle is maybe usually is also by royalty. Maybe they have the option to pay you the product, and that's it. And for example, IKEA. I think they have like a top of royalties. That's true, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can get like, I don't know, X euros or pounds, and that's it. They put like a maximum you are gonna receive.
Amazing. No, definitely, that's really helpful. And another word of thanks for yourself, Camilla Ray de Rosa. She mentioned a great presentation, Isabel, and very informative. And Camilla's asking, so a design studio, does it have to include all types of designs, or can you specialize in one type of product?
I try to specialize in product and in furniture. I don't think it's really good specialize a lot. You can specialize in product design and furniture design. You can specialize in more technical products or technologic product or graphic design, but if you do furniture design, for example, I don't advise you that do always like tables, only tables, because the companies are gonna ask you more kind of furniture. Or well, I think I answered the question.
Mm-hmm. And another question from Camilla as well. Camilla's asking, do you get to patent your designs, or does a company get the patent of the design? In terms of yourself as a designer, right? Mm-hmm. Both within the context of your studio, but also perhaps with experience that you've had, prior to setting up the studio.
I don't understand the question.
Do you get to patent your designs and protect intellectual property rights and stuff like this?
No. They don't do that. I can't, because I give the company the legal authorization for exploit and sell the product. Then if anyone has to do it, is the company, not me. And I think they don't usually do.
Amazing. So thanks for that. And again, obviously you're talking specifically within the context of furniture design and the work that you're doing as well. So another great question coming through from Eleanor is like, did you ever happen to get rejected by a client because of the price that you have asked for a design or a project?
They say because of the price. I think so. You never know how much do you have to ask for your work. It's a really difficult decision, and it changes a lot depending on who is asking and what are you doing in this moment, if you have a lot of work or not. Then I think it's a really difficult question. To do a budget, it's a really difficult situation to do a budget. And I think some clients reject me for the budget. I think so.
And following up on that, Eleanor's asking, right, like, so if you did get rejected, within the talk, you mentioned that it would be best to accept all the jobs that you can, like within reason. So what approach did you take on rejection? Like, what did you do to maybe get the job, lower the price? What routes do you take?
Okay, I used to think that I don't have a high budget. I think I don't have a high budget. Then if they say no, sorry, but it's not efficient or it's not useful for me to have this project because it's not rental. Maybe I don't have any other, but I don't know, maybe the next day a client called me for an urgent project. And if I say yes to a project that is lower budget, I can say yes to the next one that maybe is better.
Yeah, definitely. And another question coming through from Carlos. Carlos Ariel is asking, like, which apps or programs or software do you usually use to take pictures and videos?
Pictures and videos? I don't used to do pictures and videos so much. I collaborate with one friend that do this for me. Because what I do in Instagram is by iPhone, by my mobile.
Definitely. And then on that note as well, just another question, right? In terms of like, obviously you studied industrial design, product design. I mean, you got experience, especially alongside your furniture work and career and studio that you set up. You also do other things on the side, you know, like in terms of robotics and programming, etc. Like, what software are you using at the moment? And like, you know, is there anything that you've learned recently that could be useful for students?
Okay. I think, well, most of the companies are asking, at least here in Valencia, in all, practically all the design studios here in Valencia, they ask for rhinoceros. Do you know the program?
Rhino, yeah.
Also, if there is if it's a more technical job, SolidWorks. For example, thanks to go to London from Erasmus, I learned SolidWorks, and it was really useful.
Amazing. And then what's it called? Professor Mehmet, you want to go live and ask a question, Professor Mehmet? Feel free to unmute yourself.
I can do. Hello, Isabel. Good to see you again. How do you promote your work? How do you advertise or promote your work so that you get more business?
By Instagram. Well, it depends, because like I said before, you have to sell yourself every day. That it doesn't matter if you go, if I go to the co-working, or if I go to shopping and I cross by a friend, you have to tell them that you are working in design, or you have to sell yourself always. I think this is important. This is really difficult for me, but it's the best way to promote yourself. Because works a lot. I receive a lot of projects because one friend tell the other friend that I'm work design. Then I think this is the best way. Anyways, you have to work on your social network. And the way I promote, maybe I start to introduce myself to the companies by Instagram and by LinkedIn, direct to the person I want to talk. I introduce myself, I explain what I do, and try to collaborate with them.
Okay. So
I don't know if I answered your question.
So these are companies that you target yourself, which they distribute your products.
Yes, I select.
You also get individual commissions from individuals. So how do you prefer to work? Do you work for organizations or companies, or you said you sell your products to magazines,
well,
but we also deal with directly with clients?
I prefer to work directly with clients because the communication is
simpler,
is better.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for all the questions, guys. Superb questions, and thanks a lot to Isabel. A fantastic talk, a fantastic interactive, Q&A session. So thanks for your time and the talk, insights, tips, and advices. So details of the talk and Isabel were sent to your emails ahead of the talk, including links to Isabel's studio, About Design Studio, the website, social media handles. So definitely feel free to browse and connect with Isabel. Again, that all links back to, networking and connecting and building your connections as well, guys. And to conclude, Isabel, thanks for taking out your time and joining us tonight. It was very informative and insightful. And hopefully when you're next in London and in the UK, it'd be great to host you again on campus.
Thank you.
And thanks to all the participants and attendees who've joined tonight. So for all students, staff, alumni, and participants, we really look forward to seeing you guys all again next week. So keep an eye on your emails for the details of the next speaker and the links to the talk. And until next time, stay well, stay safe, and thank you, guys.
Thanks so much for hosting. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye, Isabel.
Bye.